these are just two lackeys that took the blame. If they wanted to, the government figured if they're going to bring down the whole company, they needed to get this guy to fucking talk. And the only way they could do that is if they got physical and digital evidence. So they tried to hire the guy they were trying to send to jail to work for them. Which is illegal.
Whoa.
So the guy... So, after the guy who owns all of this, who hasn't been touched, he's just been making bank and fucking people up, right? The gangster guy.
What?
After he moved to Germany, again, the local police officers started monitoring the property 24/7. However, they could not gather much evidence because he had lived in a fucking bunker. And he put a fence around the bunker. With dogs. Oh, hey, that's an angry guy. The officers also enlisted a new employee
I don't even know what you're talking about.
as an informant. And then they began investigating his activities.
Another earthquake. Becoming more frequent. That's the fourth today. Go on. You better get to that train before this
Wherever
whole
the
damn
informant
place
went, a team of 3 police officers, 2 civilians, and an emergency doctor worked out of a crowded room in a quiet area of that city. Alright, I mean, he's got a fucking team. I don't know what the doctor's for.
Yeah.
The police unit had the ambience of a nerdy frat house decorating walls with Breaking Bad, featuring Walter White as a disgruntled chemistry teacher, cooking meth in a high school. Oh, I'm sorry. Cooking in enormous quantities of meth in a high-tech bunker. I read that wrong. They got a sense of humor. So they've been doing this investigation for 5 years and they haven't even gotten close to the guy who owns the fucking website. Crazy. At one point, the German authorities granted the officers permission to intercept the bunker's web traffic using a cable, tapping a cable, going to the facility. So they tapped the cable. Alright. But they could only capture about 10% of the data that was unencrypted. On that clear portion of the 10%, they found many links to illegal web pages that sold drugs, facilitated credit card fraud, sold sex, and conducted other scams. Fuck, that's only 10%. What's the other 90%? Jesus Christ. Through their best efforts, police could not decode any of the encrypted data. The size was too large. The flow was too much that suggested the cyber bunker was offering foolproof protection for a huge number of dark web clients. Police later surmised that he was hosting illegal auction houses and marketplaces. So he's gone from running porn sites to running a black market. Fucking man.
Holding my position.
So the way he did this was he used technology developed by the United States Naval Research Laboratory, which had the intention of protecting online communications.
That's crazy.
Yep. So somehow this technology designed to stop people from being fucking asshole criminals on the internet got leaked to the criminals, and now the criminals are using it against the government. Fucking crazy. Get back to the story. Quit explaining to me. What the fuck Taurus is.
And
Holy fucking Christ.
Waiting for the signal.
So, recently, like 2016, 2017, they found out this software that Tor sites contain, right? These military fucking design programs are the first true successful dark webs. The government created the dark web. Yeah. And this was the first successful way that criminals processed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of illegal drug transactions through the internet. Modeled on Amazon and eBay. They used the US Postal Service to deliver the packages. The FBI knew about this and eventually closed the underground drug trade. And its founder, Ross Ulbright, who is the American partner, is now serving life sentence in Arizona prison. On his way into the prison, he said that he was forging a path toward a world unfettered by the repressive governments and a better life for everyone. So I guess they got one of his partners. The US partners, I mean.
Mine planted.
oh shit.
Oh. That's going to talk about Alabama. So, the guy who owns the company in the bunker, the entrance to the bunker was through a barrier. You had to go through the fence, then you had to go through a barrier gate, then you had to go through the bunker gate. And then you have to go through a couple hallways, and you eventually meet. Well, here's the interesting part. Once you get through all that, you have to get through the group of 24 people of bodyguards, programmers, technicians, several girlfriends, a gardener, a cook, and there's several import 2015 guests who are given rooms in the old Nazi barracks. Where the cooks prepare for this one. It said Zen liked to tell visitors that the barracks had once housed part of Hitler's eugenics program. No evidence for that today. There was only one shower in the 1933 structure with the facility. Everyone slept in it, except him. His bedroom was furnished with a black satin bed sheet, black sound system, outside the tomb. So he's the only. You say what you want, man. He's a fucking baller. He's the only one out of 24 people that had a fucking bed and a war machine station.
Ammo depleted.
I'm not even kidding. I'll send you the fucking image. His sons became of age. He invited them to the floor. He was divorced He also invited their mother. He invited their mother too, but she declined to fucking work for him. According to a childhood friend of friends who visited conference, the family didn't fully unite, and there seemed to be tension. Mother stayed in the above-ground quarters before she left. Oh shit, what's a BMW X6?
Bruno, a train full of zombies just crashed into the road. Not HUSSELL, real zombies. The station's under siege.
It's expensive.
Bastardo. Not the police. Fast forward to the station and get to that train. And look out for survivors as you go.
Yeah. He had a Generation 1, the first one, so he had a first generation white BMW X6, and he would drive that into town. So whenever the local team's soccer league played a game, a home game, or in a tournament, he liked to eat pizza at the local restaurant and then watch them play at the sports bar next door. He had a crew wherever he went. Sometimes he and his crew visited strip clubs in the nearby towns. Not one town. He went to multiple towns with them. The staff at these different pizzerias and other local restaurants would call him and his colleagues tipping very well. We're thankful for his service. At least he's a community man. He wore a long trench coat with yellow hair that stood out, as did his multilingual, multiracial companions from Europe. Yeah. The locals found the group was strange and reminded them of a pirate crew that had docked in town. He walked in with a trench coat, yellow hair, and a group of like Chinese, Indian, and fucking. I mean, this is a guy that's walking into with a trench coat, yellow hair, Chinese, Indian, American, and German.
Oh yeah.
Rumors around town started that Zent was cultivating cannabis in the bunker. and people were alarmed by the guard dogs roaming the property.
Damn it. Station's a wreck. Bruno, we're taking the long way round.
Why the fuck you got guard dogs, bro?
More dead coming off the train.
To reassure members of the city council, Zent occasionally gave tours to the facility.
Kill confirmed.
The mayor, who had come along for one of the tours, visited twice. The mayor was aggravated that Zent had not given the jobs he promised the local people. And he saw no marijuana cultivation for any obvious signs of illegal activity. So each floor has something like a maintenance thing, right? One has generators, one has computers, one has fucking water tanks.
Oh yeah.
One of the floors was filled with racks of Dell computer servers. The heat from these servers were conditioning units. They had so many fucking servers that could heat up a goddamn bunker. When the government programmer first visited the bunker, he was surprised by how enormous the property was, and he only got a chance to explore a third of it after searching for 2 days. And every day he would find a new room every time he walked down the hallway that he hadn't seen before. I guess this is like a mile long or some shit like that. I don't know. Well, he's also working in different. He's working in 3 separate countries now with the servers, though. Because in 2 years later, the Dutch authorities investigating the dark web marketplace found something called the Cannabis Road. So you had the Silk Road, which was the drug trade that they were hosting, and that got shut down. So then they opened up the Cannabis Road, and they had seized the company's server house in Amsterdam, and it was at a facility owned by a subsidiary of them called the Lease.
What the hell is going on?
Bruno, a train full of zombies just crashed through the wall. Not HUSSELL.
Zent was suspected of trafficking and brought back to
Station's under siege.
Zent assured the judge and his colleagues that he was not responsible for
Look out for survivors as you go.
He merely leased the impounded server that did the drug trafficking, and he hadn't known what it was used for. And he also didn't know that it was illegal to do that under German and Dutch law.
Huh.
The servers were similarly closed books, and they could not get access to them to get evidence from them. Zent felt, quote, that he was being spied on by the German police. I didn't do anything wrong. And they're still watching me.
What you got for me?
Well, technically he didn't do anything wrong. His associates are all doing it. He's just taking... Zent's office was littered with phones. There were literally 30 modified Blackberries on his desk alone. He explained to the government detective that there had that he invited him. He was expanding into an exciting new business. his web hosting had originally been lucrative, but most of the legitimate sites had migrated to conventional hosters and legal competitors that had cheaper prices.
Okay.
Oh, what the fuck? So Zed's server businesses generated enough profits to just cover the maintenance of the bunkers, but not more. So he only made about 300 to 400,000 euros a year. The original company that did the money laundering made about 600 to 800,000 euros within 7 years.
Hell yeah.
Once that got shut down, he couldn't make any more money. Whereas a child pornography site that was hosting money laundering made more than 4 million in 4 years. So the site that did money laundering to legitimate businesses also did that. Interesting. I don't like that shit though. Zent. Zent, understanding that this was a family business and it needed someone to look over the day-to-day operations of his new business, gave the supervision responsibilities of his company servers to his eldest son. While he went to work on his new business, encrypted phone networks that he could access. Project name was a Moneymaker. He then asked the government official to help him. Alright. Kind of ballsy, but I like it. Also, how much balls you gotta ask to ask the guy who's investigating you for criminal offenses to fucking work for you? On your new illegal project?
Yeah, that's some shit right there.
You don't give a fuck. So, a journalist was tracking the story. She received a tip from one of the inside sources that a major Irish drug dealer had moved from southern Spain to Germany in order to work on an encrypted phone project within the following year. She'd never heard of the original company, but a tourist in town made a curious new headquarters for a crime boss who moved in. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the journalist thought to investigate further. Bitch, you might get the fuck out of there. Oh, sorry, with the... So the town, but a tourist town in a nearby city...
I can wait as long as I have to.
Had a brand new headquarters for a crime boss that just moved in. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have an Irish drug dealer in one town that moved in to work on a phone project, and then we have a fucking crime boss that moved into the adjacent city, who's also working with this, supposedly.
Yeah.
Alright. The drug dealer's name is George Mitchell. Mitchell has a portly frame, and his distinctive waddle has earned him the name the Penguin. Right. That's cool, I guess.
Hell no. That nigga can get sniped from anywhere. Look for a fat guy with a distinct wobble, snipe his ass. The fuck?
Whenever the drug dealer, Mr. Penguin, went into, or the Penguin, whatever, he went to the bunker, his nickname was Mr. Green.
Yeah. Used to shut in the face trying to get into the bunker. Fuck that.
By the mid-90s, he became one of Ireland's most successful importers of illegal drugs and prostitutes.
Damn it. Stations are ready. Bruno,
Damn.
we're taking the long way round.
However, the drug dealer abruptly left for Amsterdam after he was
More
accused of
dead coming off the
murder
train.
of a London gangster. The integration of Ireland's first police factory. Well, I guess we know why it's the
Yeah, I seen that. That's crazy, bruh. Out of nowhere.
Low on ammo.
But for real, he really did too.
Depleted.
Kid, that was a kid too. He wasn't no old dude.
terrorist stab, and it ended with no one was tonight.
Fucking.
I'm back.
Fucking narwhal tusk, dude. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, where'd you get that from, nigga? I bet you was at a bar, nigga. You probably just snatched that shit off the wall.
He grabbed the decorative whale tusk, which had been hanging on a wall from the wall, and used it to defend himself from himself and it. You guys don't understand. The guy who stabbed him was attending a rehabilitation event when his friend got stabbed downstairs. So he was a druggie. Someone stabbed the druggie's friend downstairs. The druggie took the thing off the wall and chased him out the door with it.
What the fuck?
I'm reading the story right now. No.
Yeah.
Rehab event.
Oh, rehab event. Okay. No, because that's that shit. That's like a big ass party, dude.
They be trying to help some motherfucker get off drugs. He probably wasn't the one. So, I guess what happened is he stabbed a guy, the terrorist, and then people started throwing chairs and shit at him, and he ran out the door with the explosive device. And everyone chased after him. And people started chasing him.
I should have took turns beating his ass like motherfucker he was supposed to. A good couple of savages just whooped their ass.
Hold on. You gotta
It's a blood scene.
hustle.
That's bad news.
Hustle, you gotta understand what I just read.
Destroy the dead,
Guy,
What?
and you'll break the
the terrorist turned to him and he said, "I have an explosive device in my waist. Don't follow me." At this point, the man's friends started throwing chairs at the terrorist and running at him with knives raised above their heads.
Yeah.
Mr. Frost handed the first tusk to the man next to him before heading back upstairs to get the other one.
Yep. That's crazy.
Along with the others, I pursued the attackers with tusk in hand across the bridge, and we called out to warn the public of dangers after struggling to restrict.
Kill confirmed.
Can
real,
we ask
dude.
why are there 2 tusks? And how
Does
did they
everybody know about these tusks? Like,
well,
do you guys discuss using them as weapons? Because everybody wants to use that shit as a weapon. What the fuck?
well, can we talk about how he said, "You take this, I'm gonna grab the other one"?
Hotshot, I turned on the old base defenses. My kinetic armament turbines. If you see one, shoot it, and it'll activate the defense mechanism.
Oh, I've been waiting for this shit, dog. I've been waiting for this shit, bruh.
I'll keep that in mind.
Just judo chop him with the sword. So, after the Penguin was arrested in the Netherlands, he was caught unloading a shipment of stolen computer parts and cocaine, and he spent a year in jail. According to the senior Irish police detective, Mitchell's drug importations business thrived even after his Dutch jail term. In 2012, he facilitated the attempted shipment to Ireland of some 400 kilograms of cocaine,
Damn.
which was thwarted by police.
That nigga was balling, huh?
He remained a major figure in the European drug trade and a celebrity in the trade until about 6 years ago.
Damn, that nigga was balling, bro.
After that, they lost all contact with him in terms of importing drugs or doing any high crime activities.
He was dead.
We suspect he branched out to other areas. European
He was
intelligence suggests that he will continue to organize large shipments of drugs to Europe rather than Police contacted Mitchell and he's denied any involvement in any criminal activities. Christ. Oh shit, bro. He was looking, when he went into retirement for the drug trade, he was looking for a way to protect his dependents and assets. So he brought his son-in-law into the deal and made him a drug supplier.
Made him his son a what?
A drug supplier who was shortly murdered in Amsterdam.
Wow.
I don't know about that one. Around the same time, he arrived in Germany.
All out of
one
ammo.
Irish gangs turned buddy. An Irishman who he had previously worked with was killed by a rival gang on the coast of Spain. What the fuck is this story? And the Penguin wanted to leave Spain, and the gang feud behind and took his money to reinvest in legitimate or semi-legitimate enterprises. The gang followed him. Alright. Mitchell knew Zent, the owner of the company, for many years after that, and for part of that time he was in jail for handling stolen computer parts for the phones. A person familiar with Zent's business said that Zent had bought stolen phone parts from Mitchell. Zent declined to comment on the accusation. Alright. Many of the locals were unaware of who the Penguin was and often called him Charlie Chaplin because of his happy demeanor and weight. Alright.
That's some crazy fucking foreigner shit.
Yep.
Charlie Chaplin, he's a criminal motherfucker. What the fuck?
Mitchell was often accompanied by 6 to 12 women who each carried a small bag containing 10 to 20 Nokia phones each.
Jesus.
With its phone number written on the back.
Yeah, definitely pimping bitches. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck does that mean? Why would a phone have a number written on the back? Oh, that's established. Alright. When the journalist first received her tip on the Penguin had not been photographed in 20 years. She got the first photo in 20 years.
Messages between me and my brother. My brother that passed away. My last message, like actual text message that went through, was the day before my birthday.
The only time the Penguin left his apartment is when he was with Mitchell during their entire multi-year friendship. The pair would eat lunch at popular local restaurants, ordering gin and tonics all day long, and drinking hot chocolate.
On top of the cold carrier.
Zent would always wear the floor-length coat and resembled a Bond villain. He is a sensational-looking man. I've never seen anyone as weird as him in all my life. Alright. Hold on, give me a second.
Damn it, they're everywhere. Undead bastards.
Gun them down and push forward.
What's wrong with his ribs? You want to see a picture of Zen? Oh god. Jesus fuck.
I think my brother's gonna end up taking me to Tucson. My brother Tyler.
Did it not save the photo? The fuck?
I think he said he's gonna have his sister come pick up the U-Haul the next day after I unload it. Get it all unloaded.
Oh man, this guy's a little bit more disturbing. This is Christmas. Sure. There you go.
I'll make my foot feel better.
Just a little bit.
Stay down.
Oh my god, I look at his face and I'm blurred. Jesus fucking Christ. I'll send you a picture of it. fucking eyes. He's like Willy Wonka.
Double headshot.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think Jeremy's awake. I smell his cologne.
As soon as the guy Zan recognized the reporter, the reporter
out of
came up
ammo.
and asked, "How are you?" And he immediately said, The encrypted phone business known as A Moneymaker was indeed a moneymaker. Many people use the end-to-end encrypted communication apps like WhatsApp on their smartphones. For a small subset of privacy-minded people, the apps are insufficient. They want a fully encrypted
I
private
hope you like the
network
smell
on
of
their
this.
phone. A crypto phone.
Well, if my camera wasn't all fucking dirty.
Ammo depleted.
Crypto phone costs between $1,500 and $2,000
Bruno,
for the handset.
I have a feeling you're not gonna find
Annual
any
payment of
survivors.
$1,000 for access to the
That'll be.
network.
Going and get to that train. You can
Smells
still
really
make
good
it.
too.
$1,000 a month, also $12,000.
I'll be the judge of that.
Smells really good.
The Android or Blackberries all have their microphone location services and camera disabled and sold. They only use one end-to-end encrypted message app, which runs on the servers provided by Zent. And they have a panic button that wipes all data. Providing or using an encrypted phone is not illegal in Europe or in America, but they predominantly appear to be used for illegal activities, and prosecutors have begun finding ways to break into encrypted networks before arrests. Okay. Oh. So it turns out California is suing a CEO of a Canadian company. 6 months later, they got the CEO plead guilty for leading a criminal enterprise that facilitated the transactional importation and distribution of narcotics through encrypted communication devices. For 9 years. Many of the Phantom Secures customers were members of this Red Cross. Yeah, I don't know if this is Sinaloa, but I don't think it is. This was the first case where someone was jailed. The owner of Enid was arrested in a money laundering position because Toronto police seized all of his data. Dutch officials in the Netherlands were able to decrypt the communications. Same server it was stored on. So because this one guy got caught, the French police or Canadian police had infiltrated the network, and this led to more than 800 arrests across Europe with seizures of huge quantities of guns and drugs worth up to $7 million per deal. Oh, $67 million per deal. So they lost hundreds of $1 millions because some dipshit didn't clear his messages. Should've fucking pressed the button. Zip began to hire programmers in Poland. The apps sold and distributed on various brands are all over the world and made by third parties. One of the first encrypted phone apps that Zent developed was called the Underground and was sold on a modified BlackBerry.
Waiting for the signal.
He developed a messaging app that only worked on a novel encryption scheme sold on a jailbroken Android device. Okay. The majority of his initial encrypted customers were for Ireland. I wonder why. And then it subsequently spread through Europe with the good news, or good reports from Ireland. Guess he sold it to the drug dealers then first. Zent's business with phone business was more lucrative than his hosting business, although the extent of its profitability is hard to assess without seeing a balance sheet. So, the company that sold to the Sinaloa cartel exclusively made $80 million a year, and had only 10 to 20,000 devices. Half, or twice as much as Zent's. They estimate Zent never went past $1 million. Go fuck himself. According to a former colleague, Zent also wanted to program in a back door so if it was seized, he could disable or drain all of the funds stored in the account into his own account for safekeeping. So, fucking awesome. The programmer refused on ethical grounds.
Holding out.
Zent told him that he normally would never ask for the back door to take the funds out because it clashes with his views on privacy and ethics.
How does this happen?
Turn your phone down.
Later, it seemed that one of the previous mob bosses was arrested because they wanted to invest €1 million in Zent's new network. Dutch police shuttered, turned inside out, and destroyed all of his business transactions in order to get information on it. So. A judge allowed police to tap 16 of the Penguin's non-encrypted phones. All they found was shipments of oranges and bananas, which the police assumed was a coded reference to drugs. Even though
What do
they
you say? Thanks,
investigated, there was never enough evidence for the charge. Wow, so I guess he was just selling fruit.
What are you saying thanks about? What would you say thanks for?
What?
You!
What?
You said some shit.
Mitchell was previously working with the Colombian drug cartels and the Bagger Gang in Majorca, which he put a good word in with Zen to get it rolling. Zen asked for the good word because it's the only way to get all of his friends to use it is for him to ask and use it. Alright, so he asked the drug mafia to fucking put a good word with the other drug mafias. The police unit in Mainz, Portugal, and Spain decided to focus on cyber bunker activities toward the company that Zent ran because they're probably criminal. Running an encrypted phone network is not illegal, even though it brings in large amounts of illegal traffic with no rules. So they know he's doing it and they can't fucking do anything about it. It's pretty easy. Just how dark websites are not against the law, they just cause unlawful activity. Zen and his team actively worked and assisted with the administrators of dark websites that traded in illicit substances, services, or people. They could build a strong case against this company. What the fuck? Zent's operational security was poor in the early days of his company. He and his team occasionally used unencrypted emails, which the police were able to monitor. But it wasn't enough. They wanted a better relationship to seize dark web contents. The cybercrime unit then created its own dark website and made an illegal scam involving lottery numbers that accepted payments in Bitcoin to lure them in. The unit's members made sure that nobody who used the site could lose money, so they're giving out money to complete strangers who use the site, otherwise the officers themselves would be committing a crime. So they're committing crime to stop the crime.
What?
Show what? Well, they didn't get permission from the German authorities to make the dark website. But they let the German authorities let the German authorities know not to use the website. It's like, hey, we're gonna make this illegal site, but don't use it.
That's a suicide.
So I guess they didn't want to be shut down. They also didn't have permission to do it.
There's more.
It was designed to look as realistic as possible and as shady as possible. And it was kind of fun.
Suicider down.
Because my phone's fucking down.
Cybercrime team
Shoot
received
zombies.
permission to buy
Streaming.
thousands of dollars worth of
Fuck,
Then they emailed Cyberpunk the server.
yeah.
Company literally agreed. The
Told
officers
your ass I
approached
don't fucking always like to be on fucking camera anyways.
Bastard shot me.
Quit this bullshit.
The company asked the officers to share details of their company and
Goddamn video game.
where they got the
Video game.
The officers would not share details
Not this
because it
time.
would reveal that they were these tactics. They ascertained that since company actively assisted the illicit transactions that took place. What the fuck? This is still legal? How the fuck is this legal? Police just did some shit. That shit is illegal.
You'll regret that.
I don't even try to start that shit.
Police, meanwhile, thought they
I'm trying to fucking kill us. Man.
us.
Shit. Fucking tripping. Putting all that portion.
They sent their lead
Yeah,
developer
you really are.
professor from college to
Fucking tripping. That's what you're doing.
who made fun of Zit for using cheap technology. Racist. Yeah, they sent the professor of technology from the university and was like, yeah, this is some cheap shit. Technology can't keep up with your... Well, he's making fun of it because he's like, how can this run a secure website when you can't even barely function? It's giving him shit. They were not connected. Well, they sent him in. Well, you know what? That makes sense because they're like, yeah, get him to agree to what we want him to fucking do, but we need him to upgrade his shit so we can tap it. Zed's servers were not connected by a virtual WAN cable, which allowed the digital traffic from the servers to remain separated, even if the servers using the same cable were. So you're right, he was separating them because he was out of date. Professor assured him that if someone wanted to listen to the activity, all they had to do was secretly add another server to the group separately without him knowing.
I need a med kit.
Okay. Later on, a young intern at the company discovered a server on the third floor which looked nothing but cables. Hidden under the floorboards of the bunker, it was connected to the rest of the server. When the reporter asked the rest of the police team whether they had asked the employee to install a illegal extra server, despite asks they all laughed and said they couldn't do this before. The reporter discussed it with Zed. Zed said it was impossible for the police to tell the story.
It can't end like this.
So what? Oh, I turned off my sound by accident, so I don't know if you guys were talking the last 2 minutes. I didn't realize it, but I've been backwards and I fucking pillow turned off the sound. Yeah, so I guess the police fucking put in an illegal tap. Big surprise.
We can.
Low on ammo.
Soon
No,
after,
there's actually
police came
a clause in the law showing they arrested you can make up whatever the fuck they seem fit.
Yeah, well, that
All out of ammo.
started back in the Reagan and fucking Nixon campaigns. I mean, probably before that, but that's when the laws were made about them. The police later came to believe that Cyberbunker was the largest host of illegal websites in Germany and perhaps anywhere else in Europe. discovered this through various methods that it hosted Cannabis Road, dark web marketplaces, auction houses, and pornographic websites. Huh. It also hosted forum fraudsters, spam counterfeiters, fake IDs, prescriptions, and illicit drugs. And float vamps, a dark web market that accounted for roughly 90% of online illicit drug trade in Sweden. Holy shit, they control the whole fucking market. Alright. Between 2016 and 2019, its most significant dark web client was a site called the Wall Street Market, which sold more than 36 million euros worth of drugs. The administrators took commission of 3% for
I
each
can wait as long as I have to.
What is 3% of 36 million? Calculator. They made 1,080,000 over those 3 years.
Oh, pussy?
Drugs, just drugs alone. The administrators of the website, the people who keep it running, and shit like that.
Yeah.
Who do all the transactions like, hey, I want to make a deal with this asshole, make it happen. Every single time someone said that, they'd get like $100,000 or some shit like that. Until they each got up to about 1,080,000. Something like that. It's fucking crazy. $100,000 per deal, I could do that. And then while the main cyber team was building a case against Zen, a separate international investigation by the US, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, and some other fucking place targeted the Wall Street Market drug trade. Alright. The prosecutors told the reporter it's vital that they do not say anything to Zent before the police moved against him. So it only took them about 15 years to figure out not to fucking go after the people using the websites and just go after the people hosting them.
That's a suicide.
Suiciders! No!
There's more.
In 2019,
Not this
police
time.
arrested 3 German men accused of market mysteries under the names Coder 420, Dormouse, and well, one. Led by officers from the Federal Cybercrime Unit, the police in 3 countries worked together in the sizable identities and last
Grenade.
by following them through multiple undercover chats left by the men on The accused were also charged with running the site and an exit scam, intending to respond with $11 million in website users' fees. So not only were they doing the shit, they were trying to take more of the shit to the shit. Too much. And if you steal from the people, you're stealing from
I'm all out of ammo. This is one
several officers in force arrived at the bunker to seize evidence related to the case. A manager at the bunker expressed surprise and asked them not to. Readily complied with her. The officers made their way to the third floor and took away the secret servers used by the Wall Street Bank attacked. Also, you're right, they came to the initially. They also took the main server that ran the Wall Street market by taking it away from Cyberpunk. They could not take any of the servers unassociated with it away. So they knew the other servers were doing illegal shit. Different case, I guess. In 2019, every single employee at the bunker complex, 9 people, including Zent, his sons, his girlfriend, his wife, and their dogs, went out for an early dinner at the mill, leaving the bunker unguarded. It's highly unusual for all the residents to be gone at the same time, but the gardener Harry had unexpectedly come into an inheritance and wanted to leave to celebrate. The leader of the cybercrime department told his unit that this was the moment, that nobody would be in the bunker. Alright. At 6 p.m. as the members were starting to eat at the restaurant, armed undercover police officers flooded the restaurant and went to arrest Zent and the others. They brought a helicopter, a couple, what are these fucking cars called? Military units?
Hummers?
Guess, they just say large police units, whatever the fuck those are. So they brought a helicopter. Yeah, they brought like a helicopter, a couple police units. Fucking sucks that he ruined his dinner. A Belgian tourist was almost caught up in the arrest when he tried to visit the bathroom right before he was placed in handcuffs. Come out of the shitter and just get handcuffed. Guess. A few minutes later, about 100 police officers, including a contingent from Germany and Netherlands, raided the bunker. They seized 412 hard drives, 403 servers, God damn, 65 USB sticks, 61 laptops, 41 computers, 57 phones, piles of paper documents, and about 100,000 euros in cash.
It's a coordinated assault.
Overall, there were
Where the hell did they
650
come
officers
from?
involved with the raid.
I don't know. All surviving units
Sure,
are
they
being
don't
ordered to
know.
fall back and regroup. Once we're safe, then we
Yeah.
can start asking questions.
The prosecutor declared that it was the first time in German history that arrests were not directed against the operators of the marketplace, but against those who make the crime possible. The company was a safe place for those who wanted to commit illegal purposes online, but could not be prosecuted because of it. Okay. The clients exclusively used it for illegal purposes. Well, organizational crime, associations with multiple mobs,
Holding out.
cartels. The Penguin was never seen again. I think? Oh, no. The Penguin wasn't seen for many years after the 20 years. Fucker went into hiding for 20 goddamn years. That's right, because we fast forwarded earlier and that fucking reporter bitch found him. Prosecutors reported that the bunker had been associated with the command and control services for attack against the Telekom, one of Germany's largest communication companies. The attack deployed state-of-the-art weapon called the Mirai Botner, which harnesses smart appliances and other wireless devices in an attempt to capture the company's routers and cause them to fail. Oh, no, so they tried to capture the company's routers and steal the data, right? And once they steal the data, the network's supposed to crash, but rather than stealing the data, it just caused the network to crash. So it was like partial failure. More than 1 million Dutch telecom customers lost their internet connection in the attack, costing the company at least 2 million euros. This was the second attack. There's an even larger Mirai botnet attack in Europe and the United States, which
Waiting
disabled
for the
Amazon,
signal.
Netflix, and Twitter.
I remember that.
They had been accused of hundreds of thousands of offenses in a process ranging from drugs, counterfeit money, forged documents, accessories to the distribution of child pornography. Jesus fucking Christ, money laundering, terrorism. These fuckers are going to jail for life, guy.
Who?
Whoever's fucking arrested here. So if you have the CEO, the guy who owns it, right? And the guy right underneath him, his name was Sven Kampfuss, the Prince of Cyberbunker. He was not arrested in the raids, nor is he one of the 6 suspects still at large.
Snitch.
After the raid, he claimed that the German police had engaged in an active war, and he survived with barely a scratch.
No, he snitched. I told him
Police,
all his friends.
yep.
Told
The
every
police
single one of them.
arrested almost everybody with the connection to the bunker except him.
Mm-hmm. He snitched, and he said apparently he snitched really fast too.
There's an emphasis on giving the comprehensiveness of the investigations of where to look for the servers and devices. Prosecutors' lack of interest in Confa seemed strange.
Mm-hmm.
Zent insisted that Confus was not involved with the data center in Germany or the police. Confus told me that he had engineered most of the devices in the bunker's infrastructure, so he knew exactly where they were. That he'd also been important in developing the encrypted phones for Zent that the police tapped into with their secret illegal network. Even if Confus's work was not illegal, he was deeply knowledgeable of the organization and the German state and was believed to be a criminal on some level. When the details of the indictment were published with all the other criminals, the mystery of why Confus' treatment was significantly less harsh deepened. Oh. Prosecutors noted that the search engine had been hosted on the Dutch servers. It had more than 6,500 dark websites, including marketplace for narcotics, weapons, counterfeit money, murder orders, child pornography, counterfeit money. Jesus fucking Christ. They recall that Campus's online handle matched all of these. Okay. When the reporter asked the senior police officer in charge of the investigation why Campus was not accused in the case, he said that Campus' role in the organization had diminished, that the police did not have enough evidence to link him to any of the crimes
my
in the
position.
administration of the Wall Street market or other illegal sites associated. Okay. The reporter then asked the police if they had spoken with him during the past 6 years of the investigation, and no one has been able to find him ever since. The reporter found it very surprising that both German and whatever the other fucking police were had proved to be so competent in this investigation, and then lost track of one of the key members of the investigation right after the arrests. They say it's because earlier, about 3 years earlier, they had a strict, you know how they knew where they're going each day, no matter what, each one of them. They had someone tracing them and tracking them across the city and shit. Like that's what the team was for. Because they had they arrested him 3 years previously in a DDoS attack on Spam House, and he spent 55 days in a Spanish jail awaiting extradition to the Netherlands, and the judge let him go on probation for 3 years, and then 3 years later, the entirety of the fucking company goes down because somehow the company got found out by the police. Yeah. The German and the Dutch police cooperated early on with him in the investigation, starting in 2013, the same year that he went on probation. Huh. Comp's probationary period would have been easy enough to place legal pressure on him to talk to the police. The reporter then noted that she found Comp within hours of speaking with the police officer without difficulty.
Jesus.
He agreed to meet her a month later in a train station cafe, a pretty Dutch city near the waterfront, next to the cyberbunker site that got raided. So he's doing well with money. Confus was wearing a blue Adidas tracksuit suit, had grown a beard, some of his teeth were blackened and missing, frequently dabbed at pus weeping from a sore eyelid. Oh. And his hands kept shaking.
I can wait as long as I have to.
Alright. So either he's being held hostage or he had fucking something bad happen to him. Confus posted on the social media site Gab, and his stream is a litany of conspiracy theories on anti-Semitic assertions. You're right, he is a Nazi. Alright. He was part of the libertarian extremist right and suggested that a disproportionate number of Jews held powerful positions in Europe and America should be brought down to their rightful place. his car. We then asked him if he created the dark web search engine that had been hosted on Zens. He said yes, and later explained that he bore no responsibility for the elements in searching because of findings in the screen. And that's why he couldn't be prosecuted. Campus insisted throughout the entire interview that he was not an informant against or for anyone. He accused a manager of trafficking the restaurant, even though he'd been assured that the arranged by the government. Zen also blamed the guardian, maintained that there was no informants inside the bunker. A recent leaked file within the last 2 years came out that the guardian was an undercover policeman. Didn't even think about that. Fuck. So it looks like Gardner. There's the Gardner keeping tabs on Campfell. I can't fess what his fucking his trowel. The trowel he kept on his head. It's my lucky shovel that never comes off my back. That's why I have a basket on him. Just, I don't know, it just says that he had the gardener to cook the women and the other workers there. Well, each of the workers that were from a different country, though, because he had one from China, one from Poland, one from India, one from the US. You know? Kempis had argued that he was not involved regularly with the cyber bunker in the past 5 years, so he still considered himself the prince, the head of state of the organization until he ran into the dirt. He felt no legal pressure. Spain, Germany, and Netherlands all respected his diplomatic immunity. Campus argued with the German police and appeared to have profited from the prosecution of Zen, saying that he was now helping to run the crypto business for the right. He texted later saying that when she asked if he'd spoken with the German police, and he says, "We don't negotiate with terrorists." Oh, fucking fuck. I guess the police were terrorists since they sent in all the illegal shit. Zin has been imprisoned ever since, and his lawyer would not discuss a legal strategy. His defense appears to be that he didn't know what was on his instruments.
Have fun.
Thanks, Izzy. I'll keep that in mind.
Zin stands by his statement that he does not believe that a hoster should accept all or no raw content being hosted. As soon as the host has indication that illegal content is hosted, then they should cancel the service. Okay. However, if they don't know about it, then there's nothing they can do about it. Yes. On the day that he was arrested, he seemed very troubled by how much illegal activity had flowed through the bunker and profusely apologized to his won't stand trial until this fall because of delays caused by the coronavirus crisis. Even then, prosecutors have an incomplete picture of what went on in the bunker, since the raid analysis have attempted to sift through the data stored in the facility, which has over 2,000 terabytes. Fuck. How long does it take to go through 500 megabytes? It's the size of a standard PS4. Let's say it's a couple thousand documents on the fucking. Take a large team many years to read a fraction of what was recovered. However, the prosecutors said that they had identified dozens of clients and none of their enterprises were legal. The German police and cybercrime unit led the international investigation and said that there is no winning against the dark web. It flourished after the Silk Road's demise and will now grow in place of the Wall Street market. People have illicit desires, and the internet will find ways to satisfy them. Zint was formally indicted on April 6th of this year by German authorities. And it stated that he made all the business decisions, that he was the head of the organization. Police officers and 100% said that his seedy qualities were accompanied by the utility of freedom of speech, nobody controls what's out there. They went to go interview his sister and brother. When Zint's father died, he asked for a laptop to watch the service from jail. The request was denied. He then asked for a phone to watch the service from jail, and that was also refused.
To be on platform 5. The train is waiting at the signal house.
Renee said that in the late middle age, Zint had begun dabbling in cannabinoid treatments because he was interested in remaining forever young. This whole world was science fiction. Dude lived in a fucking bunker. He got exactly what he wanted. Who would know? It's fucking. And I guess he could have just contacted someone if he was You have to demolish it. Cut off the water. Cut off the power.
survivors. Hold on, I'm coming.
So, the end of the story just talks about how his childhood was consisting of going to different bunkers around the world. Second World War bunkers. This was a few bunkers and long. So he spent a lot of his childhood in bunkers. That's all it really says is that he spent a lot of time. Ouch.
Oh, thank God! But here, take
He
it
wrote,
easy.
in
It was
quotes,
love.
I am unable to explain why I like bunkers. Why does someone like it? Why do they like it?
Sorry.
I just like bunkers. That is all. Alright.
What you got for me?
An earlier version of this article misidentified West Germany's armed forces as terrorists. It's just a note at the very end. Hey, police. We're also police. We're gonna do some illegal shit, but we don't want you stopping us from doing illegal shit, so here's our illegal shit. Don't stop us from... Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna send this into a podcast and see if they'll read it. No. See, I need to get up and do videos. Joe Rogan will fucking read it. The dollop might... I don't know if you know what the dollop is, but... They only do American history unless it's a really good story.
The ground's collapsing.
For sure.
Chasm of lava just swallowed the tracks.
Lava?
Yeah.
Oh, mamma mia. Can you still get to the signal house? Is it still there?
Target down. down. It's there. The path has been destroyed. The only way across is over the fire.
Well, then you'll have to take your chances. Go. Hurry.
This is not what I thought I'd be doing today. Back off! coming from the roof. Oh, coming from the roof. Mine planted. now there's a damn flamer? Wait for the tank on its back.